Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very welcome. Right, today's Friday. Friday's the day of the week we turn to the BonBon buddies over on Patreon and say, hey guys, vote us in a map, and they've gone with this one. Now, it's a real-life location with a completely fictional road and rail layout. In fact, this part of the world, it's off the western coast of Scotland. It's complete wilderness, this part, from what I can tell from the top-down views in Google. I know it's completely small towns and villages in terms of what would be going on around here, but this part looks completely undeveloped. So feel free to go absolutely insane and do a crazy mega city build on it, because it should be quite interesting for that. But before you do any building, we've got to do some reviewing, and before we do any reviewing, we've got to do some daily remindering. Yes, it's your daily reminder. That's right, hitting that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people, and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Isle of Skye by Captain Waffles. Love the name, Captain Waffles, and yes, Isle of Skye. This is not all of it, this is just like one. This is the southern end of the Isle of Skye. There's your start square. That looks pretty buildable to me, including a little river for that moving water that some of us really like. Terrain heights, it's quite rugged. I think rugged is the word I should go with for today's map. The resources, not massively strong, but blobby here and there if that's what you're after. And then if you've got Sunset Harbour and want to do some fishing, it's mostly about the shellfish, but there's a bit of salmon and anchovy as well to play with. Off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, it's a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. Also, we'll be using the Coos Bay theme and the realistic 1.2 LUTs. Yes, the Coos Bay theme, the theme that I used on my particular map. Funny, you don't see it, and you don't see it, and then everybody's using it. So it seems anyway. It is a very good theme. Right, okay, so we're going to do a little flyover. Now, I'm going to get ahead of the curve on this one. The curve is not the curve in the highway here. The highways are pretty decent. Pretty decent for a fairly inexperienced unknown creator. I don't have too much of a problem with the highways. But with regard to today's asset, there's going to be a few complaints. Now, I would say that I'd spend a bit of time to get this fixed today, but it's been a bad week. It's been a very bad week. In fact, tomorrow I've got a little bit of video footage, real life video footage from my life that I think a few of you will appreciate why I'm struggling a little bit at the moment. But yes, there's a bit of a problem with today's asset, and I'm going to ask you if you've got the solution, because I didn't have time to get it fixed today. That suspension bridge probably a bit overkill there for that part of the river. So yes, when you see the problem with today's asset, and I believe that I'm probably the problem. Oh, hang on, I've got a bit of a train of traffic going on, and there's a tree in the road. There's going to be an almighty crash. I don't want to see this. I do not want to see this. Let's get past the tree and ignore what might be going on behind us. Okay, so yes, so when the creator of today's assets in the asset review near at the end of the show, as one of my preferred asset creators, I've done many of theirs over the last couple of years at the very least, and perhaps a bit more than that. And yeah, love all of their work. And I'm down as having said that I'm just one of my favourite creators, just like their stuff. And I hit a problem, and there was no time for me to fix it or to circumnavigate it. So what you're seeing today is the best I could do with the time that I had available. Okay, just getting that out of the way now, so when we get to there, I can just sort of like skim over it. Okay, I'm going to skim over it. Okay, it looks like we're coming up to our first intersection. You spotted a few trees in the road, no doubt, as we've been going along here. First intersection here. We'll have a look where that goes in the second half of the show. It's interesting. I would say unnecessary, but at the end of the day, that's just my opinion, and you may tell me that I'm completely wrong, and you would be right to do so. And then we have the start square intersection here, which has got a few encroaching trees as well, and plenty of buildable space to get you started over there. Not the world's biggest city area, but I would be looking at a fun build on this one. I would just have a lot of fun with it. At the end of the day, it's a game, and you should be having fun with it anyway. That's what it's all about, isn't it? And there are plenty of parts of the map which are less rugged than this that you can branch out into. Just this the start square area, and I think as the start square area, it's quite interesting and it's quite fun. And so I'm going to stick with that. The highways will be going to elevated in a moment, just clinging onto the side of the cliffs over here. Now, I think there are some places around here that from a distance, when we get to the second half of the show, there'll be some blue mantle or something like that from these ridges, like where this rock's hanging over the edge of the road there. Looks a bit scary. But I think there's some blue mantle from distance showing from these ridges. So it's just something to bear in mind if you wanted to grab some screenshots of your city. Watch out for that one. Just watch out for it. I'm not marking a map down on it because it is yeah, there are other things I can mark the map down on without going into worrying about bits of blue mantle here and there, like the trees. We've seen a few trees on the road. It could be a lot worse. We've seen maps which are a lot worse, haven't we? Very recently. I think we definitely agree on that one as well. We're going to see the road take a bit of a sharp incline in the moment. Very awkward looking bridge here. Although I'm going to say I do like the waterfall aspect that's going on underneath it. That's quite... Oh, we've got some drowned bushes under there though. Not quite drowned trees. Drowned bushes. Which means they don't have trunks. Does that mean they're skinny dipping? I don't know. Anyway, what do we do with the highway? Where did the highway go? What? There it is. I found it. I found it. Back on it. Yes, we've got a few trees that are hiding underneath the highway. Part of the tree count. It is a vanilla map, so this kind of matters a little bit less, I guess, because you wouldn't be seeing this one if you're playing vanilla, because you won't have Anarchy switched on. But these trees would still exist in abundance underneath those highways, taking up part of your tree count. Right off the edge of the map, let's follow the rail. The rail is fine. The route is fine. The route is fine. The trees on the branch line, less fine. And yes, definitely not following the gradients that would seem as realism. But again, it depends what you're looking for in your map. There's plenty of realists watching this show that will want this to be an absolutely pristine line. And then there's people that just want to play the game and have something that will carry freight in and out of the city. And if it's out of view, which this would be because it's out 25 tiles round about this area, I would suggest. If it's out of view and you don't see it, does it really matter? And I would say that's a very good argument. And so, yeah, it's not for me, and it's probably not for you, but it could be for you. It just depends on who you are. And some people are going to like this. Some people are just not going to care about it. Right, anyways, we're following the rail down in towards the start square. See how it goes relatively flat around the start square? This is the area that really matters if you're looking for realism. And it's certainly doable. It is certainly very doable. No humpback bridge. It's clean. It's clean and crisp. And then the climb here is relatively gentle. Relatively a little bit bumpy, but it's not too bad. And then up into the hills and mountains. So yes, right now I've been told I don't know when I'm going to be able to link it in, but Random 5 is on the brink of releasing another out of context video. Yeah, they are. They are. If it's not out already, it'll be out very, very soon. I will link it in if I get the opportunity, if I remember. And if I don't, head on over to the YouTube search Random 5, no space, and find the channel. Subscribe to them, because they're doing some good stuff over there with the outtakes and just basically having a bit of a dig at BonBonB. I've got a sense of humour, so it works for me. Oh, have a look at this. I really like this. My favourite part of the map, actually, is the way that we have all these rocks that look like they've come down off of the mountain, just slowly making the way down. I'm less enamoured by the bushes, but the rocks really do work for me. I think that is really insightful work, and I wish I'd thought of it myself. Off the edge of the map, we'll come back for more after the intermission.
You've worked hard and lived a long life. Maybe it's time to talk to your doctor about Bonaire.
With all male enhancement drugs, a chance of a blood clot in your willy is possible. If that happens, just enjoy your last minutes, knowing you achieved what you thought was impossible. Do not buy a Bonaire from the guy outside of Speedway.
Talk to your doctor today about prescription Bonaire. Bonaire, a fossil company.
And so back to the Isle of Skye. This old gamer. What a loon, eh? What a loon. Isle of Skye by Captain Waffles. And the shipping routes. We have a shipping route. There's nothing to complain about with the shipping route. Nothing to mark down. Nothing to grumble about. It's just a shipping route. And look, we've got an air route as well. Crosses over. You'll find that the air route will actually, the planes will go above the ships. I would say that's a good strategy and definitely good planning from Captain Waffles. Water flow, we've got this little stream. This is your main stream. This is where your water is going to be flowing. It's not the strongest. It's not the strongest. There is a little bit of motion in the ocean being pushed out by the water flow there. So you might be able to get away with it. I think you probably will. I think you'd be good. Okay, map as a whole. I'm loving this top-down view. This ring of mountains around the start square, again based on the real life area, looks amazing. And if you want to get up into the mountains, there are areas up here that you can actually get some buildings going on. I know that it doesn't really feel like it's an easy map. I'm not saying it is an easy map, but there are areas in here that you can work into, you can do some work with. And quite high up into some of these mountains. It's fairly steep for the longest, but you can do it. I have confidence in your ability. I have confidence in my ability, but I have confidence in yours. I did promise actually we'd have a look at this intersection, and I'll show you what route this highway takes from here. And this for me, I mean, listen, creativity. Okay, this is creativity. Right, we're taking the highway here, we're doing a little switch back here. I mean, I wouldn't have done this, but I probably wouldn't have put a highway around here anyway, because I just wouldn't have thought of it. Here, though, we do have the big old bridge. Everybody loves the big old bridge. It is one heck of a big old bridge, and it links across was this a lock? This is probably a lock. It's not a fjord because we're in Scotland, but anyway. And then it bounces across to here. And there's a loop around and back, and I don't understand. Apart from because you can. I think the answer is because you can. And because you can, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't. Got the rock there. Lovely. Mind the rock. And of course the cliffs and everything look great. We've got the old sandy texture going on, which means like sandstone would be a great rock to use. Oh, and the essential lighthouse and some vanilla rocks, and ooh, it's a castle. Let's check out the castle, see if it's any good. I know there's a pier there. We'll ignore the pier today. Yeah, I would say as castles go, I would be okay with that. It's reasonably well detailed and reasonably well positioned. Quite happy with that. And sandy stones. Yes, we have some sandy stones going on. And the sandy stones are sandy and stony and not vanilla. So they may not appear in your game. And something else that won't appear in your game is the asset of the day. Now, this is the NZ Trentham train station by AliTarGz, except for it isn't. And I have no idea why this hasn't loaded. I thought it was a loading screen issue, and I checked loading screen and it was supposed to appear. and then I reloaded the game and it didn't appear. But when I was reloading the game, I used that mod from bloody Penguin, which gives you random images off Reddit, and the random image showed that that map was not loading up Trentham train station either. So maybe I'm missing a mod or something that's required for the asset. Please let me know in the comments. And factoids, because factoids very quickly. The Emira guides of Bolivia are said to be able to keep pace with a trotting horse for a distance of 60 miles. I call that BS. Trentham train station. By AliTarGz, today's missing asset of the day, and if somebody can put me right, I'll make sure it gets a good showing sometime next week. Okay, Isle of Skye. What do you think of today's map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Use the I button now in top right corner of your screen, or the link in the description. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple, or a Patreon account. But what do I think of today's map? Well, aesthetically, it's quite pleasing, isn't it, I think? All based around having a really good theme for what these mountains would just really look really wild and rugged. And so we've got a win there. It is very vanilla. Apart from the one bit that isn't vanilla, those sandstones, which won't appear because they are not listed as a requirement on the workshop page. I'm going to give it 3 stars. I'm going to give it slightly above middle 3, just because I think it is striking and it looks the part. Detailing, yeah, we've got a lot of trees on the road, and I can't give it 3 stars because of it. I'm going to go for a medium-high 2 stars. Gameplay potential, yeah, it doesn't quite inspire you to play. There's a lot of trees to remove as you're going along, but it is playable. So I'm going to go 3 stars. I'm going to go at the lower end, though, of 3 stars. Lack of inspiration for me and lots of trees to remove. Isle of Skye by Captain Waffles. And waffling is coming to an end for me today. Yes, apologies again for the asset. You'll see tomorrow one of the reasons why I'm struggling at the moment. It's been a bit of a hellish week, but I've come through it, and you'll see some live video tomorrow that might explain part of that. Anyway, that was just a ticket. I think we've got to the end of the show, and you can use the word of the day into the comments to squeeze up some population points just for fun. Use it as part of a sentence, just like I did, to prove that you're a bit of a legend. And I'll see you tomorrow with another What's Map.